Hey, Board Gamers, BJ from Board Game Gumbo here, back with another episode of Gumbo Live. It's episode number 65. We are counting down till our 100th episode. No, not really, but Gumbo Live is the number one Facebook Live talk show dedicated to board gaming. Our special guest tonight, Carla Kopp from Weird Giraffe Games. She's here to talk about a game that if you follow us on social media, you already know about because we've been talking about it a lot the last couple of months. Big Easy Busking. Gumbo Live is a proud member of Punchboard Media. Check out our other fine members like the Low Player Count podcast. It's a discussion-based board game podcast from the Dallas area. Travis and Donnie do a great job of covering the solo and the two-player gaming space. So check them out. Punchboard Media, where we all bring something to the table. Hit us up on social media, on Twitter at Board Game Gumbo, or on Facebook at facebook.com/BoardGameGumbo, and we will be looking for your questions on the chat. But enough blather. Let's get right to our guest, Carla Kopp. Welcome back to the show.
I'm so excited to be back.
Oh, we love having you on. You know, I don't know if you know this, but you are one of the special guests who have been on in every single season. Season 4, and you've made it all 4 times.
Whoa, that's so exciting.
Carla, for those who don't know, and I don't know who would know because you are as prolific on social media as we try to be, you are a poster. Who is Carla Kopp and what is Weird Giraffe Games?
So, Carla Kopp, I am like the face. I run Weird Giraffe Games. I do a lot of stuff with Weird Giraffe Games. Weird Giraffe Games, we try to make really engaging games that are easy to learn, but like take a long time to master. And you can play them with your family, but you can also play them with gamers as well. We also try to do really bright and colorful games and some really different themes.
Unique themes, big, bold colors. You have Nick that helps you out, and you've got a cat that is also on the design team. Is that right?
Yes, I do. And the cat's actually like right over there right now, but like he's too nervous to get on the screen. So yes, our cat Fluffins is part of the quality control team.
Quality control.
Yes. He really like, so I have other cats, but he like loves board games. And whenever we're playing a board game, he will come and sit next to us and like judge us and stuff and make sure like the game's going well. So he's our quality control.
Marshall Wells from the Sinlaw group, who I'll be seeing next month at Southern Board Game Fest. Hopefully we can see you there too. Hopefully, Carla. And Sean Jones also checking in. Both of them say, welcome back to the show, Carla.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thanks for watching.
Verla was on the show a couple of weeks ago, and she loves your cat name, Fluffins. What a great name, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Where did that come from, Fluffins?
I think I just looked at him and I was like, obviously his name is Fluffins. I mean,
it just fit.
Isn't that like how cats get named? You're like, oh, of course this is your name. I don't know. That's how it happens for me.
I think you're right. All of my cats, I think, were named Minou because that's what Cajuns name their cats, Minou. I don't know why, but I guess because it's French. But so, Carla, you've been playing some games lately, and I've been playing some games lately. I saw you have a couple on the show notes. There's one I want to talk to you about, and you probably know why I have this on the list. The first game I want to talk to you about is Space. Have you played Space? And you know why I brought this up, of course.
Well, I think it's because it's a space game, but I have not played it.
Oh, I was hoping you had played it.
No.
Space from AEG. It's, from what I can tell, nothing like Stellar Leap. But it's a really cool dice-based game. Do you like dice-based games?
Yeah.
One of the things I like about Space, it plays from 2 to 5 players, and it really does. You can play 2, 3, 4, 5. I've played at all player counts, and it really plays well. And it's got the second mechanic, or the second part that I like, is a mechanic that I really like, that people that like Wingspan or other games like that are going to like. When you're rolling for your, it's an engine builder. So when you're rolling to try to build out your spaceships from dice rolls 2 to 12, you're putting spaceships so that when you roll the dice, you get a benefit, so that you can score more gold and ultimately score more points. But the beauty of the game is you can I forgot what it's called. It's not energize, but you can move your cards to the top of your factory, and when they're up there, when other people roll those numbers, you still get a benefit. So you're not just rolling your dice, moving your spaceships, moving your money, buying more spaceships for your board, and then waiting for your turn to come around. You're engaged the whole time that you're waiting to come around because you're watching everybody else's rolls. And it's so much fun when you take a bet and you put one on a 12 or you put one on a 10 that's kind of hard to get. And then it goes to Carla and she rolls a 12 and you're like, yes, I got it. Do you like that kind of mechanic where you have the ability to share dice rolls or share things? You know, like in a lot of games, they do have those like Wingspan.
Yeah, I really like games where you like there's a reason to pay attention on other players' turns. Like I don't like the games where it's like, oh, it's not my turn, therefore I'm just gonna sit here and think or wait or whatever. I like games where I'm like I care about other people and what they're doing.
You know, Scythe is a game like that where one of the cool things that Jamie put in Scythe, there's two really cool things I like. Number one, when you upgrade your board, it not only upgrades the top, but it also benefits the bottom. So it's like that double reward. You feel really good instead of taking something away. But also, whenever you upgrade that bottom board, anytime somebody else takes that action, you get a benefit too. So you're really motivated to pay attention to everybody. I just think more games should do that. It doesn't always have to be about direct competition between players. Player interaction can also be positive, don't you think?
Yeah, of course. Well, most of my games are very positive in the player interaction. I'm not a big fan of like negative things happening to people.
Yeah, I'm not too a big fan of that. So a couple of people checking in. Marshall says, I really wanted to try Space Base. I wanted to like Machikoro, but it fell flat. I am not a fan of Machikoro. I apologize if it's one of your favorite games of all time, but I'm going to tell you, I just don't like the game.
So, Machikoro, I played that game and I got so angry that I was like, I'm going to make a game that has dice and is way better than Machikoro and then like fixes the issue. And that's where actually Stellar Leap came from because
there it is.
I was like, I hate this because like in Machikoro you roll dice and you just have to like deal with the rolls, and it's like, oh well, that's not statistics. It's just I keep rolling double ones and I lose now, and you know, I don't know. Well, I hate it.
Sean, yeah, I hate it too. Sean Jones says Space Base is Machikoro done well. And hey, Steve O'Rourke, who's going to be on the show later on, we got a little game to play with you tonight. You know, he does our games. He produces a show. Steve says my friend Jake just got a copy of Space Base in trade. Have to play it soon. So Verla says, haven't played Machikoro, but I constantly hear that Space Base is similar, but so much better. Yes, Verla, it's so much better. There are certain people that are going to get a little bit too much AP and it might take a while. I've heard that complaint. I haven't seen it myself. When I play it, the game is very, very breezy. And it seems like it takes forever before you start getting to that point that you're going to get to 40. And then all of a sudden, the last 5 minutes of the game, it's like throttle speed. So it's a really good game. Hope you like that. Hey, there's Johnny Pack who says, I rage quit Machikoro. Oh, look, he's got a good name for it, Steve. Machiboro. Yeah. I like that. Not bad at all. So that is Space Base from AG by John D. Clare, who you might remember from the card crafting system of Mystic Vale. I don't know if you've ever got a chance to play Mystic Vale, but
I love Mystic Vale.
Oh, really? Well, this is the same guy. Game. It's nothing like Mystic Vale. It's more of an engine builder, but it's still a lot of fun. And that is Space Base from AEG. But you've got a game. Let me see if I can find a picture of it that I wanted to talk to you about because I haven't played it. I'm hoping that I got the right game. You know what? Let's go to this one first. This is one of my favorite games that I got to play at BGG, and I didn't know you played it. Just one.
Yeah, so I went to OrcaCon and I got taught just one, and so I if people know me and my gaming taste, I do not like party games. I don't like them at all. I would rather
Galapagos. Remember Galapagos at Gen Con? We had a great time.
No, I was like, you know what? I'm just done now. No, I don't want to play. It's a genre that a lot of people like, and I just But just one actually was really good, I thought. So just one for the people that haven't played it. It's a group game where one person has a word, or one person has to guess a word and everyone else knows it. So everyone has to write just one word to get them to know that word. But if anyone else writes the same word, that word gets taken away.
It's out.
So yes. You have to be really unique, or when I play it, I'm like, hey everyone, I'm the one that can't think of words, so I'll go for the obvious one and you all go for something else.
But how do you know what another person thinks it's obvious? That's what's so
Yeah.
diabolical about Just One.
Yeah, so like you end up with like all these really weird clues, and like sometimes no one goes for anything obvious. So it's like, how do you guess this word based on all these like super weird clues?
Oh yeah, there's my buddy Alex Goldsmith teaching us Just One, and Carla, we played it at BGG, and we were like, oh, another party game. We'll play this and then we'll run with it. We played it for 3 hours. Back to back to back to back.
Yeah.
What was such a good game? So simple. It seems like it should have been invented before. And I guess is it Telestrations? I think that kind of has that similar mechanic. So it's not like a brand new game, but the combination of the way it plays cooperatively, where you're trying to get those 13 cards, and the way it has that, if anybody matches, those clues are out, and you got to go with what's left. It just seems like it should have been invented before. It's so simple, yet it's so brilliant.
Well, and it's really cool because you can play with a lot of people. Like, I think it comes with 7 little boards, but I was seeing people where they combined 2 copies and they were playing like a massive 14-player one. So, like, I mean, it worked well enough.
There's some guy named Matt Rosa checking in. Love seeing the obscure clues that people would throw out there. That's my son, Matt. I don't know where he must be in the house watching the show somewhere.
Well, and you get all
funny.
these like really awesome ones. Like one of the clues, or the word was Chewbacca. Okay. And someone wrote Han, and the other one wrote, and somebody else wrote Solo. So it worked out perfectly. Like we had like the perfect like number of clues, and like it's just great. Like when you have these things where it just happens.
I love that. Yeah, Jeremy, our friend Ninja, said it was everywhere at BGG. Carla, I'm telling you, everywhere you looked, people were playing Just One. It started like really slow, and then as people talked about it, there were more and more people playing Just One It's definitely my party game of last year. But I'm curious, do you ever see yourself inventing a simple yet brilliant party game? Do you ever see you publishing one?
So I would probably not design one, but I'm considering publishing one right now, actually.
Oh, really?
So how this happened is I work with Rick from One Board Family sometimes. Like he teaches girls at a girls' school in Atlanta, and sometimes I like talk to them, and they had this assignment to like pitch a game, like design a game and pitch it to somebody, and I helped with like taking the pitches and stuff. And one of the girl groups like did this really cool game, and they were like so cute. Like I think they were like 12 or 14, and I was like, oh gosh, I can help these girls create this like cool little game, and it'll be great. So I think that's the way to like get me to publish your game, is to be like 2 12-year-old girls. Like I'm just like, I have to help these people.
That would be awesome. And more women game designers. That's the way it's going to be, where people are just encouraging them and nudging them along and giving them that support. I'm curious. I'd like to see how it comes to that game. So are you ready to announce it yet? Are we getting a big scoop here tonight?
Oh, I'm not like actually like I'm just talking with them and helping them out and stuff, because they're also like children and they can't sign contracts and stuff. Sure. So we'll see what happens.
And so that is Just One from Repros Production. My pick for party game of 2018. We'll see how many lists it ends up, because there were a bunch of pretty good ones, but to me, this was the best one. But here's a game that we got to play, and I'm not sure if you played this one, so I'm curious. Have you got to play William Warsh's Illusion?
I have not.
BJ from Board Game Gumbo. I've got my guest here, Carla Kopp. We're talking games she's played. Wolfgang Warsh has been on a roll. I am convinced. Do you know the movie Crossroads, where Robert Johnson, the blues guitarist, made a deal with the devil so that he could be an amazing blues guitarist after 1 year? I'm convinced that Wolfgang Warsh made some kind of deal, because I never heard of the guy a year and a half ago, and now he's got 5 games that I mean, maybe I don't like the mine as much as other people, but I still recognize it's a brilliant game. But every game that I've played from him is just solid gold. And Illusion, which didn't look like much in my opinion, was phenomenal. The premise of Illusion, The premise of Illusion is simple. You get these cards right here, a bunch of colored cards with all kind of weird shapes, and one arrow pointing one way. And that arrow tells you which of the 5 colors we're gonna deal with. If it says a blue arrow, then you have to put cards out in order from the least amount of blue to the most amount of blue on the card. Sounds simple enough, but take a look at the cards. They're all these weird abstract shapes, and remember, it's only what's visible on the card. So it's not the patterns behind or in front of the card. So your mind does these optical illusions because you think there's more color because you see these big lines, but it as Johnny Pack says, it really messes your mind. Steve says, we just played Illusion for the first time this past week at game night. Brilliant game, both Quacks and Illusion. So how does the game work, though? When you put out the cards, you're only putting one card in that order. And if you do, and you slide it in, the next player gets to look at the card order and say, is that right? If he challenges you and you're right, then you get the point. If he challenges you and you were wrong, then he gets the point. I mean, it's so simple. So, Carla, how do you think that Warsh got everybody to look at all these cards and figure out what the numbers are?
I don't
Simple.
know. Yeah.
He's got it on the back of every card.
Oh, okay.
You flip over the card and it tells you the percentage of each card. I mean, that's brilliant because some of them are so close. I mean, it'll be 14% blue and 13% blue. And did you put them in the right order? So for a quick game that plays, in 10 or 15 minutes, it is so much fun. What do you think? Something you would play?
I would try it for sure. Well, I'll try mostly any game.
Well, there is one game I'm curious about. Let me see if I can find it. You said on your list, this is BJ from Board Game Gumbo. I've got Carla Kopp here from Weird Giraffe Games. We're talking games. And you said you played a game recently called Jurassic Park. Now, there's a bunch of different ones on BGG. So I'm curious, which is the one that you played?
I will move right here and get it.
I'm assuming it's not the one from Milton Bradley from like 20 years ago, right?
It's the one that was just published. This one.
All right.
Danger, adventure, something, because there's claws.
That's the one. All right. I think I got a picture of it for us. Let's see if I can get that. All right. So tell us.
Target. Yeah.
Jurassic Park. Who publishes it? I don't know much about this game.
So I think it's one of those Forest Prison games. It says Ravensburg or Ravensburger on the side.
Ravensburger from Germany?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. It is Forest Prison Creative. So. Yeah, they're in Seattle. They make games and stuff.
So tell me about Jurassic Park. What? I mean, I know the movie, but how does the game play?
So it's a 1 versus mini game. One player is all the dinosaurs, and the other players are certain people in the game. Oh, hi, Chris.
Hey, Christian Strain, checking in. What's up, Christian?
So each of the players, they have their own characters and their own deck of cards. If they ever run out of all their cards, they lose. And there's the 3 dinosaurs, and each of them has a different power, but you can't use the same power in a row. And they have the goal of the people is to get at least a certain number of people off the island, and the goal of the dinosaurs is to eat a certain number of people.
Ooh.
I really like it. I always play as the dinosaurs, obviously.
Right.
But it's cool because each player also has their own objective. They can't just leave the island. They have to do something relating to the movie, what they did in the movie, and then get off the island. And there's things there's electric fences you can turn on. You can go to the community center and get your cards back and stuff like that. So it's just really, really nice and cool. And I like how much it includes the movie. It has a lot of different characters in it. Even the really lesser known characters. So it's just a fun, nostalgic game. But it's actually good. Where a lot of games based on movies and TV shows are just this is a game. Yeah, but it's it's really good and I really like it. And the board is modular, so it's not the same every time. And yeah.
Who would you recommend this game for? Who should play this game? Is this a good family game, or is it a deep strategy gamer game? Or
I think both. Okay. I think you can play with a family. But if you have a bunch of gamers, then they can really mess with each other and do stuff like that. So I think
So it's a game you and Nick and Ninja and everybody else could play?
yeah, for sure. And anyone
And you
that
said,
likes dinosaurs or the movie.
right. And if I understood you right, it's one versus many. One person's dinosaur and everybody else is trying to win?
Yep. I think it is up to 5 players. The box actually doesn't say. That's sad. Oh, yeah, it's 2 to 5 players, ages 10 and up.
2 to 5 players, plays in about, what is it?
Oh, 50 minutes is what the box says.
15 minutes?
Like 50.
Oh, 50 minutes. Okay.
Which is odd. Like most people like say like an hour. But I'm trying to find like one of the really great parts of the game is that they have dinosaurs.
Jamie Stegmeyer puts things like 115 minutes on site. That's such a weird number to put on a game.
Dinosaurs.
Ninja says Carla is always the dinosaur.
Yeah, I'm always
Hey, wait, show that again. I want to focus on that. Let me see that again.
Okay. Here's
Oh, not bad.
So yeah,
for a Target game, it looks like a really well produced game.
Yeah, I mean it has like good parts and meeples and stuff, and the tiles are good, and like I don't know, it's just like it's really cool, and you get to play like there's 10 different characters, so like you can cycle through the different characters and try them out, and like I think it has enough replayability, especially for like a game from Target. It's surprising how good Target games are getting.
They're really focusing on it, and that is Jurassic Park. Does it have a little tagline? Jurassic Park something?
Danger, adventure, strategy game.
Jurassic Park from Ravensburger, and it's available at Target. And Carla gives it 2 Tyrannosaurus Rex arms up.
Yeah.
Okay, good. BJ from Board Game Gumbo. I've got my guest Carla Kopp here, season 4. She's been on every season, and she always brings us something good. And this is the one that I've been waiting. How many months have you and I gone back and forth on Twitter and on Facebook Messenger about this game? I'm talking about Big Easy Busking. And I am so excited. You guys had an amazing first 24 hours. That has got to put some good feelings on your shoulders, right?
Yes. I'm so excited. We're at around 40% right now. So that's exciting.
I mean, you're talking, this is a typical one of your type of games, weird draft games. It's a small box, big, bold colors. It's got cool mechanics that'll still play in under an hour, but make you feel like it's a bigger game. It's got weird draft games written all over. But you didn't design it. So tell me, is this the first game you've published? No, Fire in the Library was from Tony. So it's not the first one. But tell us the story. How did you get hooked up with Big Easy Busking?
So I was at Atlanta Protospiel and I met Josh Mills, and Josh Mills, he designed Rocky Road a la Mode, and I really like that game. So at conventions I try to meet people and find out who they are, and he offered to teach me Big Easy Busking. So I ended up playing and I really liked it. Like I liked the weird theme. I really liked at that time, it had the mechanic where like you start playing a song on one turn and you finish playing on the other turn, and I thought that was like so weird and different. Like I love that part of it, and I still like that's my favorite part of the game even now.
It is definitely different. I will tell you, when we played it our first time, it took a little bit of time to get used to from a thinking perspective. You're going to buy this song, you're going to start the song, and then you're going to finish the song. Well, some of them you have in your hand already, but so my understanding is though it wasn't always about New Orleans musicians. Is that right, or did I read that wrong?
I think I'm not sure like the entire history of it, but since I've seen it, it's always been New Orleans.
And what fascinated you about the whole New Orleans street music scene?
So I've been to New Orleans, and it's really a great place. Like I went there and I just walked around everywhere, and it was so nice and like friendly, and like you got to see all these things, but it was like a really different atmosphere. Like New Orleans is its own unique place that's like I've never seen another place or experienced another place like it. I like the uniqueness of it.
Look, we already got a backer there for you. Sean Jones says, already backed it this afternoon. It looks great.
Thank you so much, Sean.
And I was looking at I have one of the cards up here solo. It's got you talk about a typical New Orleans scene. Of course, it's a lot brighter than you would see in New Orleans, but it's got this amazing scene with the the French Quarter style, the iron railings and all the different looks and everything, and people look like they're having a good time. The street musicians. You've got some amazing art in this game. Now, I know that with our review copy, we only saw a little piece of it, and I know that you guys have, basically from what I can see from the Kickstarter page, you got a lot more cooking on that. But tell me a little bit about the art. How did that come about?
The artist, the illustrator, his name is Andrew Thompson. I actually met him at Origins last year because our booths were right next to each other. How it happened that he was the one to do the illustration is that I looked for a lot of New Orleans artists. I actually consulted with you, and I consulted with other New Orleans people. I found somebody that I loved, but then she had a family emergency situation. Aww. And that happened. So I started going further out and looking for artists that do color really well. Because I love color. I think games should be super colorful because not only should the gameplay be good, but the aesthetics should be enjoyable. Every part of a game I think should be really enjoyable and memorable. So I looked for artists with color, and he was one of the people that came up, and he was free to do the art because there's a lot of artists out there that are just constantly booked. And I had spent months looking for an artist, going back and forth, finding an artist. And then there was this artist I really liked that was in New Orleans, but each piece of art cost $10,000. And I was like, whoa, that would be great if I had that sort of budget, but I don't. Or there was other New Orleans artists that did black and white and didn't do the color that I wanted, or they were busy. It was a lot, but I'm
go ahead.
Oh, I'm really glad by how colorful, and you look at it and you can if you've been to New Orleans, you can remember that building. So I think that's cool.
I got some pictures of the different cards. The way that our copy is, and I know this, I'm showing for sure. I want everybody to know that I'm showing the early production stuff. This is not the final stuff. I know, Carla, but it looked like even when you're putting your cards on the table, there's actually a flow to the cards to make it look like they connect together. Is that going to be in the final result?
Yes, it should be. So if you put them in the right order, it's a whole scene together, and I thought that would be really cool to do.
So I got a shot of this is us. This is actually my wife and I playing the game. What? Give us the elevator pitch. How does Big Easy Busking play?
Okay, so Big Easy Busking, it's a game for 1 to 5 players. It plays in about 45 to 60 minutes for ages 8+. It's an area control game, but with a twist. In the game, you start playing a song on one of your turns, but then music takes time. So everyone starts playing a song, and then you decide how much energy you're actually going to put in the song if the moods of the song matches the moods of the crowd. So if the moods don't match, you just put all of your energy into the crowd, you're done. But if the mood matches, you have a choice. If you put in all the energy, you get an extra $1. Or you can put in at least 1 energy and redistribute to give your musicians more energy for their next songs. How you win is to be the band with the most money at the end of the game. The game is played over 3 rounds. It starts on Thursday night, where there's only 3 crowds to play at, and then it goes to Friday, and there's another crowd, and finally to Saturday, the day with the most crowds, there's 5. So you will get money if you get the threshold on a crowd, and this could be a number from 1 to 4. So yeah, that's the number that's in the little cube box thing, and it tells you what money you get. And there's a certain amount of money you get if you have the most cubes on a crowd. And these are all very variable. They vary from crowds that are really stingy to crowds that have a high threshold to crowds that will just shower you with money. So each game is really different because the crowds are different, but also the moods that come out are on the little tokens. So you never know, are you going to get a Thursday night crowd where everyone is super chill and they only want to listen to chill music, or will it be a variety of crowds or whatever? There's also standard songs that you can play, and these are songs that everyone knows, but you have to play a royalty to play these songs. But on each game, there's one ability standard that'll let you do a little something extra. And this also makes games really different because there's 6 different abilities in the game, so you can have 6 very different games. And yes, Verla says it's up to 5 players, and I think it plays really good at 5 players. So my favorite part about the game is that, the whole thing where people play a song at a place, and then you get to see where everyone's playing, but not what they're doing. And people always like I think I know exactly what they're doing, but they always surprise me. And like when you play at 5 players, it's like that's 4 people that can do completely not what you think that they'll do. So I love the game at 5 players. I think it plays really well, but it's also really good at 2 players because it's a more fast and kind of cutthroat.
I actually haven't played it at 5. I played it at 2, 3, and 4. I do want to try it at 5. I'd like to play that. I have found, though, between 2, 3, and 4, I didn't really notice any difference in the player counts because the turns are so breezy. I mean, they're so, things move really quick. And you're keeping an eye on what everybody else is doing because what we didn't realize the first time we were playing it is one of the things I knew about, but they didn't know, is that as I'm teaching the game, the Thursday to Saturday keeps increasing in the size of the crowds, which was a cool mechanic that they're like, oh, that's kind of neat. But what we didn't realize is we're going to run out of song cards. And so you're really kind of building a deck in your hand of the best cards that you think are going to be available for those 5 crowds at the end. So that's it's a cool thinking thing. You got to watch what other people are doing.
And you have to be really careful about your energy because there's been all these times where I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to play here and I'm going to win this one and I want to play here. And then somebody messes up my plan. And then I want to go and play more songs, but you actually run out of energy. You have some energy in your reserve and you can tip your band members to get more energy, but you can't go beyond the amount of cubes you have. There's just times where it's oh, I have this 3 energy song, but I have 2 cubes left and I just can't. I can't.
And you got to invest right, because if you tip at the wrong time, your tipping actually is your victory points. I mean, you're spending money, which is really your victory points. So it's got to pay off. Those 1 or 2 coins really need to pay off with a big payoff in that 5th round or whatever round you're in. Not 5th round. I mean, first, 2nd, or 3rd round. Verla says, hey, please tell me there will be a soundtrack or a Spotify playlist to go with this game. Verla, I can hook you up with that. Carla, have you been listening to some New Orleans style music to try to get you influenced when you're editing the rules or play testing the game?
I've been listening to a lot of just jazz music and stuff like that. One, I have to art direct and know what the trumpeters are doing and stuff, so I can give art direction, hey, make the sax player's hands move like this. But it's been really exciting. I really love music in general and saxophone and jazz, and it's great. So I really want to have a soundtrack, but at the very least, yes, a Spotify playlist.
I got the guy for you.
Okay.
Johnny Pack, who was just watching the show a little while. Did you know he's a jazz player?
I did not.
Get him to help you with a jazz soundtrack for Big Easy Busking. I bet he could throw that together easy.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. I'll definitely follow up with you after this.
Bill Lassick says, stretch goal? Stretch goal, maybe?
Yes. I do have a number of stretch goals, but first we have to get funded.
You do have to get funded, but I know you're thinking about it. And one of the things that, and I know this is not this campaign, I had so much fun watching Galactic Raptors campaign as you guys threw out all these crazy animals for Stephen Aramini's Animal Kingdoms game. Do you have some crazy things in mind here for Big Easy Busking if you can get to that level?
I'm not sure about crazy, but I want to do a lot more art and music and things like that.
Bill says this game really stands out both in art and unique theme. Happy to be on the Kickstarter train for this one. Well, that's Weird Giraffe Games right there. Cool themes, awesome art. I like the way, as I told the Gumbo guys when we were breaking the game out, I said, hey, look, we all do area control games, but small box games that do area control in a different way. This is area control with a teeny tiny little bit of deck building. Maybe not deck, because you're not drawing, but hand management. Hand management, right. Area control with a hand management thing. That's a unique mesh, and I really liked it. I thought Big Easy Busking is a lot of fun. It's perfect for that lanyap style game where you just want to, something small that you can carry around. You can play it at the start of the night. It's not quite trying to think how long it took us for 4 players. What's your play length been running?
Around 45 minutes an hour, but it depends on who's playing and if they're like super competitive. Because when you get competitive people in there, they'll start like playing at a location and taking back their energy and playing and taking back and like really competing and stuff. So depending on how cutthroat they are, it might go a little longer.
There it is. Johnny Pack says, yep, I can help you with the playlist.
Well, thank you.
All right. We are rolling along. And that is Big Easy Busking. All right. So how long is the Kickstarter campaign going to roll for?
Another 23 days.
All right. What's it going to cost somebody if they want to get a Big Easy Busking? Because I know if this is a Weird Giraffe campaign, you've got some really cool level where people can not only help out the campaign, but help out other people. Tell me about that.
So we have the base game for $25 plus shipping. You can also get the deluxe edition that has custom meeple shapes, like in the trumpet and the sax and the drum, and I think it's really cool. But I'm also like a really big fan of custom meeples. And there's a super special level where you can name one of the robot bands if you have like a really cool band name. So.
Ooh! Wow.
Yes,
Name
because
the
I mean
band.
they can't just be like Threshold Band or Moody Band like the prototype said. They have to be like really cool band names because like why not?
EJ and the board game Gumbo.
Yes, it could be that.
It could be, right? It could be Steve and the Name Fathers. Maybe.
Maybe.
You got to put funk in there somewhere. You got to have some kind of funk bone or funk dysfunction or one of those. It's the New Orleans bands on Frenchman Street. They love that funk name. Hey, are you going to get down to New Orleans at all to try to play this game?
I want to. Yes, I still have to organize the trip and stuff, but yeah, it's not that far, so it shouldn't like be a problem.
You and I have been talking, back and forth. I am going to be in New Orleans for sure for a long weekend in the middle of March. So if you have a chance, maybe we can get together and shoot those photos because I'd love to do that, man. I'd love to play it there. I think a lot of this.
For the Southern Board Game Fest?
That's March 30th right here in Lafayette, and we would love to see you there. I'm going to talk to you about something cool that we have planned if you decide to come after the show. But Southern Board Game Fest right here in Lafayette, we have people coming in from Texas, Shreveport, Southern Mississippi. No one from LA yet, Lower Alabama, but we do have somebody from the other LA, Los Angeles, coming. So we'll have a bunch. We're also going to do. We had called it Go Pub, GEAUX Pub at first, but I got outvoted on that one. So it's going to be Unpub Mini. We're joining up with the Unpub Mini folks, and we'll have a bunch of designers. Derek Dulé is supposed to be coming in. Jason Dinger will be there. Jesse Sagele will be there. So we got a bunch of people coming. So it should be fun. If you want to test out some of your prototypes. But back to Big Easy Busking. Who's this game geared for? Is this because there's a little bit of depth in there. Is it a family weight game? What are you marketing it as?
So I would say it is a family weight game just because like your turn, are you going like you finish your song and then you have a choice of 3 things. Are you going to learn a song, play a song, or pass? Like, so it's really simple from like that perspective. But if you get the people that are like really competitive, it becomes like, I would say it's also for hobby gamers because like there's that whole like matching the mood and figuring it out and strategically playing and taking back energy and tipping your people. Like it has a depth to it too. So I'd say it's for both. Like play it with your family and also play it with your game group.
So Christine has a question. When is the Unpub? It's that Saturday, Christian, all day. We have a couple of slots left for it if you want to slide in there. And Carla, I'll always have a slot for you. But we have a different idea for you. So I'll talk to you about that. Johnny says, my quartet's name is Sucks to Your Jazz Mar. Okay. That's an interesting there. Marshall Wells is going to be see, the Dirty Dozen Brass Birmingham Band. Oh, I like that, Steve. Not bad. See, you know your New Orleans music. The Dirty Dozen Brass Band. So Marshall Wells says he's demoing Crusaders that will be done for the fest. That is true. He's on the demo list. We got a ton of demos, some play to wins from a bunch of companies like Gray Fox, Stonemeyer, Stronghold, a bunch of games like that. And then, of course, we have actual demos. And iHeart Board Games is going to be there. They're going to be doing, with Board Game Gumbo, a complete 12-hour broadcast of the entire festival, including plays. So you come down, and we'll get you to play one of the games. So back to, can I give you one quibble about Big Easy Busking?
Yeah.
All right. So I got a picture on the screen, and that's the awesome street scene, which I've seen many, many times over my life. And then there's a little chip in the middle of it, right?
Yes.
That's the mood chips that
Yes.
you're looking for how the crowd plays versus yours. In the reviewers edition, one of the chips was just a heart.
Yeah, that's romantic.
Okay.
Oh, you didn't read the so I sent out like extra rules that had like
Yep.
all the themes and what they were. So the beads are the party mood.
It
the
is.
mask is the chill mood, and the heart is the romantic.
And
mood.
Fleur de Lis was wild.
Yeah, it's all the moods. They're
King
just
cake
happy
with a
me.
baby. King cake with a baby. No.
But like it has to be like a tiny icon that you can tell what it is. I don't know like how you'd make a king cake that was like super small.
Baby? Or the little baby, the baby that goes with the king cake?
Yeah, but then it'd be like the baby mood. So one of the weird things about this game is some reviewers were like,
That's what happens when you're romantic, you know.
Yeah. Well, so for the beads, some reviewers were like, "What's beads mood? What does that have to do with anything?" And I'm like, haven't you? Yeah, that's the party. Like, haven't you heard about Mardi Gras in New Orleans? Like, and they're like, this has nothing to do with New Orleans. And I'm like, what? Are you sure?
Yeah.
So if I had like a tiny baby, they'd be like, what? That's the baby mood? The like bring your baby partying mood?
Okay. So, that is a good point. See, Steve, you see why I'm not a developer? This is why I'm not a developer. But you know what? The Gumbo is going to get on it. We're on the case. We're going to think of something that's New Orleans that fits. You want something romantic, right? Or chill or romantic? What are you looking for?
Well, the chill one, I thought the mask fit. Did you think of the mask was good? But I also
I like the mask.
I think what I need to do is in the rules, like put more about New Orleans, like have a bunch of New Orleans facts and say like, oh, these beads, they're about Mardi Gras. In Mardi Gras, like you throw the beads, and like I won't say like things about the beads, but like I'll make it family friendly. Okay. But like why beads are in there, why the mask is in there, so people know. Because like not everyone knows about Mardi Gras, I guess.
Yeah, well, let me think if I can come up with something. If I can't, we'll stick with the heart for the romantics. But we got to think of something. All right. So Carla, that is Big Easy Busking. It's out on Kickstarter right now. And when is the campaign finishing up?
March 7th, I believe. Like 2 days after Mardi Gras.
March 7th. All right. Well, everybody go out there and check the Kickstarter page for that. It's Big Easy Busking. It's a fantastic little game. Area control with hand management. It's a lot of fun. Awesome art, and I can't wait to see what those stretch goals are going to be. Now, Carla, you know this is a board game show, right?
Yes.
Last time you played the Jambalaya game, and I don't know if you really enjoyed it that much.
I am so bad at this game. I'm not going to lie. It seems like we have each played a large number of games, but we haven't played the same game. So it's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
How about this?
But we'll try.
I've got some special guests for you tonight, and they're going to help with a different game. I've got Danielle Bock from the Draft Mechanic Podcast. Hey, what's up, Danielle? And of course, I've got our producers, Steve O'Rourke, the name father. He's in the bottom corner. The four of us are going to play something we call the Boudin Bowl. You know the Saints got robbed, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we got robbed from going to the Super Bowl. Everybody agrees, right? Because I have a little button that can kick you out of the show if you don't agree, Steve. Come on.
I'm with you. I'm with you, BJ. Hey, Danielle. Hey, Carl.
Hey, Steve.
All right. So before we get started with the game, Danielle, tell everybody, what is Draft Mechanic Podcast?
Draft Mechanic Podcast is a podcast about board games and craft beer, and we tie the two together. We We'll come up with lists of on-tap beers to go with games, talk about games we played recently. I try to do a beer segment every episode that'll give you a little bit of beer information. But other than that, we just have a good time, play some games.
Steve, are you drinking a beer tonight?
That is a root beer.
Root beer. Is it a Beta?
Yeah. No, it's not. Virgil's.
Oh, man. It should be a Beta root beer.
Can't get a Beta around here.
Kevin says, for the record, that is a Steven body double. The name father must not be real. This is the cyborg. We have the cyborg on it. You know, Jake and I have this running thing, Jake from the Draft Mechanic podcast, that every time I see a Barks Red Cream, I always post a picture of myself drinking it just to tick him off.
That is mean, BJ.
Bradley says, time for BJ to lose again. Oh, boy. That's right. Barry did not do well the last time we played the game. Maybe we should, Steve, maybe we should tell Carla how the game is going to play. You want to give her the directions?
Yeah, sure. We'll tell you just the instructions and then make sure BJ goes 0 for 2. What we did was that Danielle and BJ and I decided to come up with 4 categories, and each of us drafted a game that we felt fit that category. So Carla, instead of being one of the players in this, you get to be the ref. You get to be the judge, and you'll get to pick with the football theme who has first place, gets a touchdown, 7 points. Who has the second place game fit in that category, 3 points, field goal, and who gets 0 points with a lack of pass interference that causes a turnover or what have you. I'm sorry,
or
BJ,
a fumble.
Soon. Yeah, too soon. That gets 0 points. Across 4 games, 4 quarters, we'll add up the points, and whoever gets first wins the game.
Okay.
All right. Are you ready, Carla?
Okay. And so I picked the game that fits the best for first place?
The criteria is up to you. You just whoever scores a touchdown, you say they scored a touchdown. Whoever you think just kind of kicked the field goal, that's fine. And if they got a fumble or interception on their pick, you say they're kono-yo, or you can say 0, whichever one you want to say. If you want to use a Cajun word.
And we may try to sell you on this or run down some of the other people's picks. BJ, you're going to hear it from me about 1 or 2 of them.
Oh no, we're definitely going to be selling this. So, in fact, I may make an audible on one of mine, but we'll see. All right, hey, give us the first category, Danielle. What's the first category? Do you know?
Are we doing them in order? Because if so, the first category is musically themed games.
How appropriate, right, Carla? First quarter action right here in the Boudin Bowl. Danielle versus Steve versus BJ. Danielle, we're going to let you go first. What are you going to give? What play are you going to throw out there?
Okay, so the musically themed game that I picked actually just came out, and it is about establishing a tour route for your band. And you can have a jazz band, you can also have a hip-hop band or a rock band or a country band, but it is called On Tour, and it just came out from BoardGameTables.com, and it's a rolling, right? You're essentially rolling these 2 giant dice. They are ridiculously large dice, and you are putting the numbers in, and then at the end you have to connect the numbers in increasing order and plan your route. And hopefully you don't do what I've done in the last 2 games and completely cut off the entire East Coast because you just were really bad at placing numbers.
That's a strong pick. She's going with the play. That is On Tour. Bradley was right. I should have thrown drop mix. Why didn't I talk to you, Bradley? Dang it. All right, Steve, you are up next. What do you have for your choice?
This was a tough one. I didn't have that many good music-themed games that I've played before. Drop Mix was one I thought of, but I haven't played it. What I ended up coming up with was Okie Dokie. It's a little card game, very much also playing to the referee, I think, here a little bit with animals as well. Animals playing their little instruments. Can be solo, card game, can be co-op. You're basically trying to lay the cards down in order, rows and columns, and not get stuck, kind of like a solitaire patience kind of game. But good colors and all playing music, including your panda conductor.
It does have animals, and it's got music. That's a strong play towards Carla. I'll tell you, though, I've played that game about 15 times, and that theme is pretty weak, though. Steve, you got to admit.
Hey, it's background music. Let's call it that. The theme is basically background music.
Then it can get background points.
I'll give it to you. We'll go with Okie Dokie for Steve. So mine, I think. What about it? Are audibles allowed? Because Big Easy Busking would be perfect.
No, you stuck with it.
Big Easy Busking, right? That'd probably be a touchdown and a 2-point play. But I'm going to go with my third choice. So here's my choice, Carla, and let me set it up. when we said musically themed game, it didn't matter that the game actually has music inside the game. What if it's based on music, right? And it's got an amazing designer, the great Eleanor Moon, who designed She's Got a Ticket to Ride and She Don't Care. I got a feeling I'm going down, Danielle. What do you think?
Yeah,
I think
Ticket to Ride and he don't care.
Yeah, that is a big stretch, BJ.
Who says that living with me is bringing her down?
BJ,
All right, Carla, you got a tough one here. Oh, Verla had a good one, and I didn't think of this. This is one of Tom's a game Tom Vassell talks about all the time. Sympathy number 9. I haven't played it yet though. Sean, I don't know Encore, and Drop Mix should have been my choice. So.
Yeah,
all
so
right.
I'm gonna go out and say that BJ did a fumble like that.
Oh.
That's not a music game. That's a train game. That is no.
Train. A great band from San Francisco. See?
Okay.
Ticket to Ride
Sure.
fits. All right,
Fumble.
so Carla. So I've got a 0. So who kicked the field goal and who got the touchdown?
So I actually own both Okie Dokie and On Tour, and I haven't played either yet, and I feel so sad about that. But I like the art in On Tour a lot more, and I think that'll be more of a game of my taste. Because I am really into roll and writes right now, and not so much into co-op. So Danielle gets the touchdown with 7 points.
Well, I agree with
right.
Kevin, and that's because I'm unbiased. It was a home run, but unfortunately, this is a football-themed game. So, okay, after the end of the first quarter, Danielle's got 7, Steve's got 3, and BJ's got 0 with the Ticket to Ride / Train, the band music game. Still got no points. All right.
You have effort points, which don't count for anything, but like you have them.
Okay, I appreciate that. And remember, if there's a tie, chat crew, you guys decide who the winner is. So pay attention. If there's a tie, I'm pulling for a tie at this point. All right. So
You're setting yourself up for a comeback.
Yeah, let's go to second quarter right before halftime. Let's see if I can catch up. Steve, what's our category for the second quarter?
All right. Again, with this one, let me pull it back up again. Carla, as the guest tonight, we went with animal themes. And again, you're open to kind of define this the way you want it. It could be animals in the art. It could be animals in the theme. It could be et cetera, how you wanted to do that.
Man, I may have to call an audible on this one too. I've got a good game. I've got a great game I think Carla would pick. All right, so Steve, you're up. Which one are you picking?
All right. Danielle had the first choice in this one, and I like her choice too, but I think I went in a different direction with similar good art, but also emphasizing the animal theme. I went with evolution. Basically, how could you get more animal than talking about the animal kingdom and how the different species compete? Trying not to be prey, trying to be predator, trying to reproduce, trying to eat, trying to hit the watering hole. That seems like it's got Animal Kingdom written all over it.
It's a good choice. Danielle did have the first pick on this one, and she picked a pretty good game. I hate to lobby for her, but I think you're going to like this one. All right, Danielle, what's your pick for the animal games?
Well, if birds aren't animals, I don't know what they are. So I went with Wingspan, which is not only a good game that's getting a lot of attention right now, but it is a game where the animal theme, I think, helps the game in a really strong way. Because it is a good game, but it is an amazingly themed game. I was going to grab my copy of it. I wasn't sure, and I couldn't find my third game's box. But it's got such amazing bird art and bird facts. You get the habitat and the wingspan and what they eat and where they live. And the birdness of that game, if birdness is a word, is at least half of what makes it awesome. So I went with Wingspan.
Takinoko. That would have been a good one. Have you played Takinoko, Carla?
I actually haven't.
Oh, okay.
I don't know
Bradley,
why.
it does have pandas. Let's see. So I couldn't think of a good giraffe game other than Carcassonne the Safari, and I wasn't sure if you had played that one. So I went with a pretty simple game that's come out. And I actually like this, and it does have this. This is not like the first one. This one does have animals in it. It's called Cryptid. And Cryptid is a deduction game that, to me, does deduction games right. It's really hard to mess it up, which is one of the bad things about doing these deduction games, where one person makes a mistake, everybody's got to back out everything. This one makes pretty much sense. It was designed by someone you would like, a computer programmer who actually did an algorithm to make sure that all of the clues line up correctly. And it does have animals. It's got clues that I don't remember the exact animals, but I know bears are in there, and maybe
Cougars.
there's cougars. Yes, there's a cougar, and of course the cryptid is an animal.
The cryptids aren't in the game, though.
Yeah, but it's an animal, though, right?
I guess.
we assume it is. We assume so. So that's cryptid. It's not only fun. It's not only perfecting that deduction mechanic. I mean, to the best that I've played, it's hot out there and it's got animals in it. So come on, let's see what we got this time. I think you got some hard choices this, Carla, and we're going into halftime. Yeah. So this is a key play here. What are you going to do?
So I really have wanted to play Wingspan and I haven't, but I've heard like wonderful things on it. But I'm going to have to go with Evolution. I love Evolution. I think I'm going with it because like not only like it has all the animals, you get to learn about evolution and stuff, but like it's a great like work game. Like I've convinced so many of my coworkers just to play games with me. Like you can play like I think 6 players and it's great. Like I love it. Like it's a good family like whatever game. So Steven gets the touchdown with that one. Danielle gets the 3 points.
Look at Kevin's remarks. He says they aren't in the game. They are the game. That's what cryptid is.
I know. I'm just ragging on it because they didn't put any of the cryptid art from the box in the game.
That is true. Bradley says cryptid is really excellent, but not the first thing I think of for animals. Probably right. Everdell. I haven't played Everdell. Anybody in the crowd here? Steven, Carla, Danielle. Any of you guys played Everdell?
Yes.
No.
Animals?
There are animals in it. They're anthropomorphized animals that are your citizens.
So that's the big tree game with all the little animals that play around it?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I do remember. I
You
saw it at
didn't go with
BGG.
Root, BJ.
Root.
Root would have been all yours.
Root would have been so much better than Cryptid.
Yeah, I'm not very good.
Until after you played it, though.
I'm not very
So
good.
we're
And I've played Root a ton of times.
Good.
Here's an interesting fact about a Root. I've played it 5 times now, and I've only played one faction.
Which faction?
I love the birds. I love Robo. If you like Robo Rally, you're going to love the bird faction. I mean, the bird faction is so much fun. If I move to another faction, I'm going to have to learn the game again, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what it feels like.
Well, I mean,
so, Carla,
you have to know the different factions so that you can like win. Because like if you don't know how to play the different factions, you don't know how to like stop them from winning.
Yeah, Bradley will tell you I'm 0 for 5. So that tells you how much I know the other faction. So, all right. So halftime going in. Steve, what's our score at halftime?
It's looking like tied up with me and Danielle at 10-10. And as they say in horse racing, BJ can see them all.
Yeah, I've got 0. So, all right. I've got the big donut going in. Let's go into the third quarter. I'll start it out. The third quarter is a cool theme that we had left over from the last game that we didn't get to use, and we thought that this would be appropriate because of who our guest is, Carla here. A great game with an unusual, goofy, weird theme, something that we don't see every day, right? So here's mine, Camel Up. When it came out, I bought it right away, and I've introduced it to so many people who've never played games before, because when they think of games, they think of Monopoly and Life and Battleship and all these kind of boring staid topics. And then you get a game where camels race each other around a pyramid, and they actually stack on top of each other. Now, I really don't have a lot of experience with camels, but I'm pretty sure I've never seen them stack 5 high in any camel race I've ever been to. So I thought this is unusual. And now the newest Camel Up, which I haven't got to play yet, has a camel that races backwards. If that's not unusual, I mean, what was he thinking when he came up with the idea of let's have a racing game about camels that stack up on top of each other, and one of them is going to race backwards. So Camel Up, that's my choice for great game with a goofy, weird theme. And it's got animals in it, Carla.
It does.
All right, here we go. Ooh, the chat crew likes it. All right. Let's go with Danielle. You're up next.
Okay, I went with Ice Cool because the theme of penguin hall monitors monitoring around a penguin high school and trying to slide in to steal other people's student IDs seemed pretty goofy and weird to me. Also has animals, so, got that pandering as well. But it's just a really fun game. You put it out on the table. Everyone wants to see, like, what are these things? Why are you flicking these little plastic pieces? And then you give it a shot, and there is so much finesse to those little weighted penguin things and all the cool tricks you can make them do. I thought it was a good fun one with definitely a weird theme.
That's a solid choice.
All right, Steve, you're up. Although Kirk's
I
got a
didn't go
good
with
one.
animals, I didn't go with animals, but I certainly went with weird. With Mr. Cabbage Head's garden, I don't know that it gets much weirder than anthropomorphic vegetables, growing vegetables in their garden. Again, let's not get into whether or not it is or isn't cannibalism when they grow their own vegetables and eat their own vegetables. But another card game that you're the Mr. Cabbage Head drawing your garden, and you have these odd Victorian neighbors who come by trying to pester you or take your vegetables. The thing that I like about it is, aside from it being a good soloable game, it's the artwork on it, while weird, really does kind of evoke a lot of those old seed catalogs and stuff. So the art is kind of strange but charming at the same time. But I don't know that it gets much goofier or weirder than that.
So weird but familiar.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Weird, but you kind of have a sense of where you are with it.
So, Carla, which of these three games have you played? And Kirk raised another one. I don't know if you've tried Asking for Troubles. I guess Christian can tell us those are animals. Well, it does have some animals on there. That's would be a weird choice for a goofy theme. That is right. So, Carla, which of these three games have you played?
I played Camel Up and Ice Cool. So I have not played Mr. Cabbage Head. And I'm also I don't like anthropomorphic anything.
Ooh.
So I'm gonna say that's a fumble. I don't know. It's that whole thing is weird to me. Too weird.
Our buddies from 90-Second Nerd say +1 for Camel Up. We're loving it.
Yeah, I will go for Camel Up for the touchdown. Because I think it's a little more accessible. Ice Cool is fun if you're good at stuff, but if you're bad at stuff, it's I am bad at stuff in that game, and so I just try and I fail repeatedly. So yes, touchdown finally goes to BJ.
This might be my first touchdown in 2 Boudin Bowls, so I'm very happy. Whoa. But I'll tell you though, Ice Cool Danielle was a pretty cool pick. I thought that was that was a good one.
Okay.
All right, so too. We're going into the fourth quarter here. It's really close. We got Danielle with 13, Steve with 10, and BJ with 7. Danielle, why don't you give us our last category?
Okay, the last category is actually, I think, the broadest of them, which is just card game. And we're looking for a game that can have other components, but is 80 to 90% cards.
Okay.
All right. So why don't you go ahead and go first?
Okay, I went with a game called Matryoshka, which is a game about collecting sets of Russian dolls. So I guess it probably could have gone in my weird theme category as well. But what you're doing in this game is you are laying a bunch of the cards that you're keeping out in front of you, and you're trying to collect the same suit of dolls and the same number. And you're putting out some of your cards in front of you to sort of hint to the other players what you might like in trade. And then everybody is taking turns trading a card. And you get an offer from everybody at the table, so you have a secret information about what they have and what they might be collecting. And I think this game has a lot of, it requires a lot of focus, and it has a lot of depth to the play that doesn't necessarily become really apparent. And I think that's what makes a really nice card game. When it is really easy to teach, you do a handful of steps, but then there's a lot of depth to the play. It's also got gorgeous art of these Russian dolls, which doesn't hurt anything ever to have gorgeous artwork.
You know, I heard you and Jake talk about this one a lot for a while. You're playing it a lot, it seemed like. And I tell you, it sounds like a really fun game. I checked out the artwork. Danielle, you're right. It's got some really cool artwork in this game.
They definitely themed all the different suits differently. So you have one that looks kind of like Elsa from Frozen, and you got one that is just a sort of African stylized version of a Russian doll. So the same shape, but a different paint. Like I said, I couldn't find the box for it because it lives in our quiver. We bring it everywhere. So I was looking around. I was like, oh, do I go get the box? And I have no idea where it is.
Perla says a Russian nesting dolls game. I'm intrigued. I don't know where you can get this game. Is it available?
It's from White Goblin, so it should be available.
So,
yeah, so it's
actually going to be brought to Kickstarter soon from Letterman Games. So,
your buddy Dan.
Something. Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Sometime in the next 3 to 6 months, I hear. So
Kirk says Campy Creatures, fun little game. I'm not as a big fan of that style of art. I mean, I know what it is. It's that B movie art, but it was a better game than I thought. And of course, Arboretum and Cockroach Poker. I've never played Cockroach Poker. I really want to play that game. That would be right up my family's alley. And of course, Jaipur, which for a while was my favorite 2-player game of all time. Such a good game, Jaipur. That's some good choices out there in the chat room. They don't seem to like. They're not jumping on yours yet, Danielle. So let's see what Steve has if he can steal this thing away.
All right, we'll see. I used Sprawlopolis in the last Boudin Bowl, but I'm going to go back to Button Shy for Circle the Wagons. Again, when you look at something like with card games, the beautiful thing about them is that they're so small, they're so packable. Like Daniel says, put them in the quiver, put them in your pocket, put them in a bag, and walk away. The beauty of this, 18 cards, you're laying out a tableau, you're following with some of the cards, they become your objectives or goals or what guides you for scoring in that round. And I'm glad to hear that if Carla is not so big into co-op, this is one that you could play solo or you are trying to put out the best to beat somebody else. So that one is a real simple pack it away and take it, and it's all cards.
Bradley had thrown out 7 Wonders, and that's a classic. But I'll tell you, these Button Shy games, from what people tell me, I've only played a couple, and from what people tell me, Circle the Wagon is the best one. Is it your favorite so far?
I think I may like Sprawlopolis just a bit more, but they have very similar play where you're basically laying out there's difference in the way that you're making choices of the cards rather than drawing them. They're laid out in a circle. But the same idea that some of the cards, they are multiple use. You can see there's the objective on one side, what you're laying down for the tableau on the other. Economics of it are just amazing to try and see how you can be so economical with those small number of components and make a good, deep, playable game.
Well, Jason Tagmeyer is going to have to start sponsoring you or the show because we seem to be going back to Button Shy every episode. But mine, sometimes we say this all the time. When we play just one, Carla, we say this at least once a night. Sometimes you play to the crowd, and sometimes you put an answer on that thing that is just there for you. Not for anybody else. Doesn't matter if you're going to win or not. You're just doing it for you. And for me, I did put this last. I know that I'm not going to win with this one, but there's no way I'm not going to play a game that includes card games and not include my favorite card game, Baseball Highlights 2045. It's up there with Imperial Settlers as one of my 2 favorite big box card games. I don't know if you played Baseball Highlights 2045, but it's by Mike Fitzgerald, who I actually own some of his earliest games way back to Wyvern. He's the king of card games, and Baseball Highlights 2045 is, to me, the best deck builder that's out there. It's a 2-player game. It plays more, but it's really a 2-player game. It's quick drafting. It's a free agent deck, and it feels like a futuristic simulation of baseball that plays super quickly. I mean, 20 minutes. In an hour, you can do a whole World Series. So Baseball Highlights 2045, I know it's not the winning one, and I'm pretty far behind anyway, but I got to put it out there because I love the game so much. All right, so which of those 3? And the chat room is not really loving Baseball Highlights 2045, so that's not a good sign. But Flow of History is another one. Have you played Flow of History?
I've not.
Yeah, I've thought about that one, but that's a pretty mean game, and you're not that big a fan of mean player interaction. That's a really mean game. Kirk says, love Button Shy. So which of these 3 games, Matryoshka, Circle the Wagons, Baseball Highlights 2045, have you played any of those?
So I have played Circle the Wagons.
Okay. That's what I figured.
But I would have to say that I like Sprawlopolis better than Circle the Wagons. Like, after playing both of them, I just like, why ever play Circle the Wagons again? Because, like, there's Sprawlopolis. I don't know. I just like, even though I don't like co-ops, like,
Ooh,
that
Steve.
is a co-op game. That, like, Sprawlopolis.
Should have gone back to the well.
Yes, if you would have said Sprawlopolis, I would have been like, yes, that one. But I'm gonna go with Danielle's pick because, while the art is really cool, I really want to, like, out of all those three, that if you were like, let's play one of these three games, that's the one I would choose. I really want to know how it plays and its set collection, and who doesn't like that?
Matryoshka, those Russian nesting dolls. I never would have thought that as a game idea. Your buddy Dan is bringing it out to Kickstarter. For those who don't know, chat crew, Galactic Raptor is a combination of you and Dan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So you know the game. Have you got? And you haven't played it yet, but I'm sure you're gonna play it at some point.
Yes, I will.
All right. So the crowd is on their feet. It's the fourth quarter. What do you think between Circle the Wagons and Baseball Highlights 2045?
So I am just not a baseball person. Like, baseball to me is like the worst sport ever. It's so boring. Like, so boring.
It's better than curling.
I mean, I don't know. Is it?
Okay.
Eric Summer is going to come after you if you keep talking like that, PJ.
That's right.
He will. Curling would not survive in Louisiana, unfortunately.
If you were like, let's play a game about curling or let's play a game about baseball, like curling, like that might be like the dexterity. Like if you had like a little curling thing, I feel like that would be fun.
Okay.
Just like I don't see anything about baseball. Like, does the game have a lot of statistics? Like that just sounds like the worst.
There are some statistics. It's baseball. They gotta have statistics in it.
Really?
Yeah, you got. Some of the players are better at home run hitting. Some of them are better at stealing. Some are better at fielding. Some are better at running the bases. So, yeah, it's if you're a sabermetrician, you're gonna like baseball. Oh no, today, true, Steve. If you have you played Baseball Highlights 24/5, Steve?
I've only played it on the app. I haven't actually played the in-person game.
Danielle?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's not really a sabermetrician game, as you would agree with me on that, Danielle, right? It's not really running the numbers. It's more of a deck building game, right?
Yeah, I mean the stats aren't like they're not the main point of the game. It's mostly your deck construction. But I kind of agree with Carla. It's not my favorite.
All right. I had a chance to tie it up.
With Alex. You can talk about it and have a great time.
Yeah. Alex Goldsmith and I will just commiserate on it. All right. So I had a chance to tie it up. But, Carla, you did give me a touchdown, the first one I've ever scored in the Boudin Bowl. All right, Steve, wrap it up. Tell us, what were the final scores? I think we got a brand new winner here.
Well, there's a clear winner. If I'm looking at this correctly, I think Danielle's got 20, coming in second place with 13, and BJ's touchdown was what he scored, 7.
That was 7 points.
Yeah, 7 points. Moved up from last time. I think you made progress from 6, so you're going in the right direction.
I am going in the right direction. And yes, every Wednesday night I do a lot of losing. So at Gumbo game night. So I am practiced at it. Don't worry about it, Carla. It doesn't bother me to lose games. So did you enjoy that one a little better than Lanyap?
Yes.
But not
because, like that one was
Gumbo
like
line.
guess this game that you don't know. Like well, it was fun. It was fun. But like this one was a little better because like I didn't have like so much pressure.
All right, well, Danielle and Steve, thank you for joining in on the show. I appreciate you jumping in on Boudin Bowl. We're going to wrap it up now with Carla in a second, and hopefully we'll get you guys on later.
Sounds good. So
Sure.
long, Danielle. So long, Carla.
Night, y'all.
Night.
All right, Carla, so that was the Boudin Bowl. I had a good time playing it with you. Hopefully you had as much fun as we had putting it together. It was kind of cool chatting and checking around with Danielle and Steve. And as you can tell, there was a lot of jockeying for games that we thought would appeal to you.
Yeah.
So we got to pander a little bit if we can, and we did as best we could on that. Tell us real quick about the Kickstarter. It's for those who are just joining in. We've got your game coming out right now. It's actually out, and it's 40% of the way funded. It had a great first 24 hours, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's on Kickstarter right now. You can go visit it if you go to Weird Giraffe Games. There's a link on the website, but you can also go to weirddraftgames.com/BEB1 and you will get to the Kickstarter page. But yeah, it is a family-friendly, gamer-friendly game for 1 to 5 players. It plays in about 45 minutes to 60 minutes. I mean, it's a great lunch game that constantly surprises me. It's like the only game I've published where I consistently lose, but I just want to get better at it.
But
So
you still
I
like
love
playing it.
Yes.
And
I
that's
love
Big
playing.
Easy Busking. It's out on Kickstarter right now. Big Easy Busking, area control and hand management from Weird Giraffe Games. And it's out for another how many days?
23 days.
23 days. So let's get out there and support that game and get it, especially getting those fun stretch levels that we know you're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
All right, board gamers. That's it for another episode of Gumbo Live. I want to thank Carla Kopp from Weird Giraffe coming in. Hey, how can they reach you if they have any questions about Big Easy Busking?
If you have any questions, you can get to me on Twitter at twitter.com/weirdgiraffes. That's multiple giraffes. I have a Facebook page, Weird Giraffe Games. I have a website, the weirdgiraffegames.com. Email is contact@weirdgiraffegames. Like, feel free to do any of those things. I'm probably best at email, but yes. And thank you so much for having me, and thanks everyone for watching. This was super
Make sure to like.
fun.
It was fun. Make sure to like our Facebook page, facebook.com/BoardGameGumbo. It helps us get the word out about all of our upcoming guests and shows. I'm BJ from Board Game Gumbo, and Carla, until next time, laissez le bon temps rouler.